Welcome friend to my series of lectures on biochemistry. In this lecture, I'll be discussing about a very interesting topic about lipid profile, probably the most commonly used test in the laboratory, and the raging debate whether we should have fasting or whether a non-fasting sample is good enough for lipid profile. If you want to understand about lipoprotein and lipoprotein metabolism, I have a video in my channel. I've also had a separate video on why fasting is required for lipid profile. The classical teaching for lipid profile is that we should have a 12 hours fasting, and the reason for that, we say that the serum triglycerides will increase because if you take a non-fasting sample, then chylomicrons are present in the blood and they will add up to the triglycerides. So when we are calculating the LDL using the Fridwold's formula, the calculation of LDL cholesterol will be defective. Also, we all know that a non-fasting sample is chylous, and chylous samples are not suitable for testing. But here I want you to stop and think. Does fasting really result in all samples being chylous? You have seen PP samples. How many of them have been chylous? So if you get a chylous sample, even if it be a non-fasting sample, there is probably a metabolic defect. Now, patients are still giving us non-fasting sample, and you know that there are so many times when the doctors call back and insist that please collect the sample non-fasting, we will still do the test. Now, what is the rationale behind them? Do these guys not know what they're doing, or is there something else in mind that we are not aware of? Well, let's see the logic behind this. Now, when we calculate LDL cholesterol using the Fridwold's formula, what's the Fridwold's formula? LDL cholesterol is total cholesterol minus HDL cholesterol minus triglycerides by 5. And why triglycerides by 5? Because we say that for every 1 cholesterol in every 5 triglycerides in a VLDL molecule, there is 1 cholesterol. So when you do Tg by 5, you will know the amount of cholesterol present in the triglycerides. And we insist on fasting because we don't want chylomicrons, because chylomicrons will also add up to this triglycerides. Now, this is all important when we do LDL by the calculation method. But let us really put it down to numbers and try to understand the logic behind this. Let us take that the total cholesterol is 250 milligram per deciliter. Let's take the HDL cholesterol as 50 milligrams per deciliter. Let us take the fasting triglycerides as 150 milligram per deciliter, and let us assume that if we collected a non-fasting sample, the triglyceride was 200 milligrams per deciliter. Now, where is 150 milligram per deciliter, where is 200 milligram per deciliter? But now let's do the calculation of LDL cholesterol using the Fridwold's formula, both assuming the fasting and the non-fasting. In the LDL cholesterol in the fasting sample is 250 minus 50 minus 150 by 5, that is 170 milligram per deciliter. So the LDL cholesterol is 170 milligrams per deciliter. But if you have taken a non-fasting sample, the same calculation will come down to 160 milligrams per deciliter. Now, effectively, the difference in the triglyceride, the difference is not clinically significant. 170, even if there is a 50 milligram per deciliter increase in triglycerides, there is only a 10 milligram increase in the LDL cholesterol, and hence, if they say a non-fasting sample, it may not be too very wrong. But now let's understand the true story behind a fasting or a non-fasting lipid profile. Nowadays we have a direct method to estimate cholesterol, LDL cholesterol direct, and in this we do not require fasting. Total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, HDL cholesterol, they are all constant throughout the day. So if we take a random sample also and do the test, there really is going to be no much effect in the LDL cholesterol, provided they are doing the direct LDL cholesterol. If you are doing a calculated form of LDL cholesterol, the difference is also not very much. But triglycerides are a true risk for coronary artery disease. Even non-fasting triglycerides in the body should not go more than 200 milligram per deciliter. Whatever be your metabolism, in a non-fasting state, your triglycerides cannot be more than 200 milligram per deciliter, and if it is more than 200 milligram per deciliter, whether you're fasting or not, it is bad. Lipemic samples are in any way is a very bad sample. If you get a lipemic sample, straight away the person has dyslipidemias, and this is going to lead to pancreatitis. So we got to be very careful over here. Fasting versus PP triglycerides. I've done this experiment in my lab, and I will also encourage you to do it in your lab. That if you take the triglycerides of a serum sample at the time a patient gave the fasting, and at the time when he gave the PP sample, at that time you take two serums and do the triglycerides, I have not found a difference of more than 25 to 30 milligram per deciliter. So this effectively translates to maximum 5 to 10 milligram per deciliter difference in LDL cholesterol if you're doing the calculated method, and if you're doing a direct method, this doesn't make a difference. Nowadays there is a concept of non-HDL cholesterol. What is non-HDL cholesterol? Total cholesterol minus HDL cholesterol. Now if you understand the metabolism, HDL cholesterol is reverse cholesterol transport from the periphery to the liver. These are the ones which are going to get excreted. All the others, your VLDL, your IDL, your LDL, all and the chylomicrons, they are the ones which are taking cholesterol and triglycerides to the peripheral tissue. They are the ones which are atherogenic. So a better indicator nowadays, rather than just the LDL cholesterol, is a concept of non-HDL cholesterol. And a non-HDL cholesterol greater than 130 milligram per deciliter is bad in any ways. So coming back to the concept of fasting versus non-fasting lipid profile. In case we are doing LDL by the direct estimation, in case the clinicians are going to manage patients with the non-HDL cholesterol more than the LDL cholesterol, then the concept of doing lipid profile even on a non-fasting sample is very good. Also, one should be aware that when we are giving a triglyceride report, the clinician is aware that this is a non-fasting triglyceride, and anyways a triglyceride greater than 200 milligram per deciliter, whether it is fasting or non-fasting, does not make any difference in the clinical management. So with all these guarded conditions, one can still go on to do a lipid profile in a non-fasting sample, provided you're doing LDL by the direct estimation, HDL by the direct estimation, and the triglyceride that you're reporting in a non-fasting sample should have that this is a non-fasting triglyceride. Probably you can make a different code for this test and report it against the standard triglycerides which is expected to be of a fasting sample. Thank you very much. Contact me at my email for any doubts, queries or clarifications.